Hi guys, it's Mark from SilencedTech. Today we're going to be checking out a product that's been out for a while, the SteelSeries Rival 700 optical gaming mouse. This is the first SteelSeries product I've ever actually reviewed on the channel, and hopefully there's going to be many more to come in the future. The Rival 700 has an interesting ergonomic design. At the back the hump isn't completely smooth, with defined edges on the left and right side. The back is also removable, allowing you to replace it with different textured surfaces, although there's no spare backs found in the box. On the left hand side of the mouse there are 3 buttons and an OLED display. The forward and back buttons are very well placed, they have great tactile feedback and feel very nice quality. Button 6 I couldn't even seem to use in game due to the fact it's so far forward. It's also deactivated by default. If we take a look at the SteelSeries engine free software, you'll notice that you can not only assign various functions to each of these 3 buttons such as macros, but you can also make them vibrate, and we'll talk more about that later. The OLED display, in my opinion, is a bit of a gimmick. You can customize it with various images. I currently have my own logo on it for the channel, and you're also able to write whatever you can think of using the editor built into the SteelSeries software. The Rival 700 can also relay information to the user in a particular game like CSGO, such as your score, headshot and health information. At no point while I used this mouse in game did I feel comfortable looking down at it and checking any information it was relaying. In fact, was pulling myself out of the game, ruining my concentration. Taking a look at the top of the mouse, the left and right clicks feel pretty good. They have a slightly longer travel distance to what I would normally prefer, but they do have very well defined clicks, which is great for burst firing in FPS shooters. The scroll wheel has a rubberized coating, it's LED backlit, as well as the SteelSeries logo found on the back of the mouse. Users can choose between 16.8 million colours to match their setup. The scroll wheel has very well defined scroll steps, and button 3 is also perfect in my opinion. Slightly back from the scroll wheel is a CPI button, and it steps between 2 sensitivity settings. It's well placed and never once did I hit it by mistake while gaming. Underneath the mouse you'll notice 4 screws. Undoing them allows you to remove its sensor, the Pixar 3360. It has a maximum CPI of 16,000, which goes all the way down to 100, plus it has a super responsive polling rate of 1000 Hz. If we jump on the SteelSeries website, not only can you replace the 3360 sensor if it ever goes wrong, also you can choose another sensor, the Pixar 9800 laser sensor, although I'm not too sure why you would ever want to do that, as the 3360 sensor is one of the best on the market, providing one-to-one tracking and 0 acceleration. Comfort grooves are well shaped on the Rival 700. On the left my thumb rests perfectly in the middle, plus the rubber aids my grip. On the right side my ring and pinky finger are very well supported. After using the mouse for a few hours I felt no cramping or discomfort on any of my fingers or thumb. One area I did feel discomfort after a while was around my wrist, due to the fact the mouse weighs in at a colossal 135 grams. All of the features built inside the Rival 700, like its OLED display and its vibration function, has made this mouse too heavy in my opinion. While gaming I found the Rival 700's weight was its biggest downfall. All of the extras have certainly increased its size as well. The Rival 700 isn't too far off the Logitech G900, although it's a little shorter in length at 12.4 centimeters. It's 5.6 centimeters at its gripping width and 4.1 centimeters tall. Overall it feels fairly substantial in my hand, and it's certainly on the larger size. Gaming performance: while playing games like Battlefield 1 and CSGO, I found the Rival 700 seemed to work best using claw grip. I had no trouble lifting the mouse up with that grip style. When I switched to my more traditional fingertip grip, it certainly didn't feel ideal. Only after around 20 minutes of gaming, once my hands had heated up, did I find fingertip comfortable. Palm was much the same as fingertip. I think it's mainly due to its glossy back, and I would really like to try out the cover pack that you can buy off the SteelSeries website, as it includes a back with a textured finish. Saying that is pretty obvious. A mouse weighing at 135 grams with a glossy back is going to slip out of my palm. Once my hands are warmed up, the mouse performs pretty well, especially at long range shots. It's when you're up in close against enemies its weight can become a bit of a problem. Jumping into the software, SteelSeries have done a fantastic job as long as you're prepared to spend a fair amount of time learning how everything works. The software opens up to a single page where you can open up many sub-pages. The main page allows you to choose from up to 5 onboard profiles. In each of those profiles you can create many different configurations, whether it's for desktop use or your favourite game. Actions allows you to customise each button to things like single keyboard strokes, full macros, media buttons and shortcuts, to name a few. There's also a tactile setting that assigns a vibration that activates when you click any button you assign it to. There's also individual vibrations you can choose to assign to each individual button. Back to the main page, there's also the options to customize your CPI, acceleration, deceleration, angle snapping, polling rate, and a tactile cooldown feature that's ultimately just another gimmick. Strangely, there doesn't seem to be any lift-off distance settings in the software, but the Rival 700 has a low enough lift-off distance at only 1mm, so it's not really an issue. Customizing the lighting on the mouse is pretty straightforward. You can choose from several effects such as steady, color shift, multicolor breathe, and lastly trigger. Each one can be changed to your liking by switching up the pattern and choosing various colors. Taking a closer look at the OLED settings, you can either write down your own text using the bitmap editor or upload your own image like I have done. I'll leave you to decide whether you think this is a gimmick or a really cool must-have feature. Lastly, the SteelSeries software has an option called Game Sense, and it works only on 3 games: CSGO, Dota 2 or Minecraft. In CSGO, for example, you can customize the LED lighting to change every time your health gets low. The next tab probably is the most useful, and it's called Tactile. It uses the Rival 700's vibration feature to give you feedback on various events happening in game, such as every time you get a headshot or if your ammo gets low. Each event can be assigned to a different or slightly different vibration, and overall it is a great feature to have on the mouse. Much like the other two, the next tab is called Screen. It uses the Rival 700's OLED display to relay information such as how many headshots you've had in game, your KD ratio, or even your overall score. Personally, I think it's a gimmick and the novelty wears off pretty quickly when you're using the mouse. The fact is you've got to look down at the mouse to see the screen and you're taking your eyes off the game, so personally, if I had this mouse as my go-to mouse, I would never ever use it. So the Rival 700 seems like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. It's a real competent mouse when gaming, but all those extra features added sacrifices one key area: weight. If you love heavy mice, then I can highly recommend the Rival 700. As expected, the 3360 optical sensor works extremely well in games. It's highly capable of providing excellent tracking with no jitters or skipping. The award for the Rival 700 is gold, and that's purely based on users looking for a heavy mouse exclusively. Clearly, if you prefer lighter mice, it's not going to be for you. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the review, guys. I'm Mark from SteelSeries Rival. Goodbye.